Viewers, welcome to my channel that is all about literature. So in previous video we have discussed on the learning, what is learning, and we have concluded that how it works. Everything we have discussed. Now we move further, like that maturation, imprinting, and other temporary changes plus learning. We will discuss on these points and these key points. So let's start. So this is the thing, that in learning we mostly include activity, practice and experience, but maturation is natural process. It is all about that why maturation is different from learning. We have discussed that learning is the permanent change. But in maturation is like when we take an example that maturation, first of all, in an infant, then he grows up as a child, then he moves like adolescence, then he grows as an adult, and then old age. Like that we complete a stage as a maturation, and in maturation we grow as a physical or mental, both. That is natural process. That is God gifted, or we can say God give us that specified thing, that maturation, mature thing. When we grow as a child or as an adult, then we grow by our mind as well as physical. But in learning you can't say that this is a natural, because it takes experience and training. Like if I'm giving an example, there is a child. He doesn't learn everything in that in his environment, but when he grow up or grow as an adult person, and till then he doesn't learn anything, then that is your learning process, because there is no experience, there is no training was there. So I hope you understand the difference between two things, because there is a main point of that experience, and in maturation that is natural. So we can say this process doesn't fall in the category or acquired or learned. This is not learned process. Maturation is a natural process. Then we move further, like other temporary changes. If we talk about that other temporary changes, they are like fatigue, drugs, illness are transitory. Transitory means momentary in nature, or physical changes. If I'm giving an example, like you are tired, and you want something, that some tutor or other external factors want to learn something, then you can't learn. You though you will learn something, like for a moment, like if a person learns something like cramming something, a chapter of English grammar, though he is a tired person, now he is very tired, and now he has crammed all the rules of English grammar, that tense or that narration or passive voice, those things. But after some time, like 2 or 3 days, he will forget everything, all the rules, because he is tired, and those tiredness gives him momentary satisfaction by learning. But we can't say that is learning, that is actual learning. Yeah, that is not actual learning. So I hope you understood that. And in drugs also, because in drugs, if you take drugs, that is the momentary pleasure, that called hallucination. Or in illness, you can't learn everything that is permanent, because they are temporary. So I hope this point is also clear to you all. Now, learning is a process which brings relatively permanent changes in the behavior of a learner through experience or practice. That is the main definition of your learning, and we have discussed already on what is learning, and this line has videos. Now we come to that imprinting. Imprinting is like we print something, that is print in your mind, or everyone thinks. Some people take it imprinting in a wrong way. They think that learning and imprinting both are same, but this is not right, because we can say this is a phase sensitive learning. Because in text, this is called phase sensitive learning, or this imprinting takes particular age or particular stage for learning, that is not take experience and training. Because in learning we have discussed that in learning experience and training are most important. But in imprinting, it is natural process. You can say this is a particular age. This particular age is a you can say that in mother's womb, when an infant is in his mother's womb, or you can say just after birth. So I hope you understand the difference between imprinting and learning. So there is a difference, that is a definition of this imprinting: the attachment behavior of a newborn baby to the first large moving object in the environment. This is the attachment, you can say attachment. But in learning you can't say that this is a attachment to some object or something that we have learned. So this is the attachment of a newborn. I said you that earlier, that after birth, just after birth, or in a child's womb, they learn whatever they learn, they have copied things, imitate the things, and those that are imprinting. So if I am saying that ethologists who have take an experiment on imprinting, and we will see that what is imprinting, and you will take clear picture of that imprinting, and you will be cleared about that imprinting and learning. So if we say that ethologist means ethology. Ethology is a study of animal behavior. And ethologist means who is studying of animal behavior. So Konrad Lorenz was a ethologist, and he conducted an experiment. So if I am taking that these short tricks and short things, that experiment on imprinting, if you want to take the short notes of these things, because I have taken some short note of these imprintings experiment, so that it will be easier for you to understand the things. And if you want to take the short notes of this, so take a pause of this video, and after that you can note down all the things, because it will help in your first grade exam, and definitely it will help you. So we will take an experiment. This is the experiment. Konrad took ducklings and goslings, demonstrated that mother of these babies moves or makes some noises, so baby follows the mother. First of all, Konrad took the babies of ducks and goose. They are called ducklings and gosling, and he showed them after hatching by mother the egg of the duck or the gosling, that the babies copy everything what is their mother is doing. Like if the ducklings and goslings mother is doing like moves or makes some noises, so babies also follows the same thing. So this is the first experiment, and then he also took the second experiment. In second experiment, he replaced mother by a big object. He took an object as it would be big object that will be in front of those ducklings and goslings. That football, that was a floating football. That was, and Konrad here was surprised to see that those duckling and gosling, after hatching by their mother, they followed the floating football also, because there's no sense, that is only copy or imitating things. They just imitating. They never ever use their mind, we can say, because mind is for human beings, but some birds or some animal has some kind of mind, that the sense, we can say sense. So they follow that floating football also. So this was the big surprise for Konrad. So this is the second experiment. Then third time, he replaces himself with football and mother. He replaced mother and football by himself, and then he took an incubator, and then he hatched the gosling's egg or eggs of duckling, and then he presented just after hatching. He presented himself as an object. There was a limitation of that imprinting or incubator. There is a limitation of 4 incubators. Then you have to take 14 days. You have to present yourself as a 14 days. For 14 days. So Konrad presented himself as an object, and that object, so that is the big surprise, that babies also follows him. And even though everywhere he goes, who was Conrad. Everywhere he goes, the babies follows, the ducklings follows him, and if someone remove them from that following, they show resentment, they show anger, angerness, everything they shows, and they shows that cries, and when they were prevented from following him. This is the experiment, and after this experiment he concluded something, that what is imprinting, and there's just some points he has declared. So this one, he concluded that imprinting a sense of strong connection or attachment. It is an attachment, or it is an inborn perceptual process. It is inborn in a mother's womb. In a mother's womb. And then third conclusion was that free from training and experience, because naturally the babies copies or imitating the object, so there was nothing as such training and experience. They never experienced the things. Naturally they imitating those objects. Here he also followed for safety, security, love, attachment. Imprinting is for those things, like they follow like mother or that other objects for safety. There's safety because there is a fear of something. Security, love, attachment, everything. Because of these words, they follow the mother or that object, football, or that experimenter. And like love at first sight, it is imprinting is like love at first sight. You saw something or and you fall instantly love for that object. So this is called love at first sight. And in imprinting, you can say that this is the same process in imprinting. This is the impression on the tender mind. Tender is that weak, frail mind, and tender mind. This is the love at first sight that occurs naturally depending upon the environment, stimulus which sets it off. It occurs naturally. It is natural process depending upon the environment. With what kind of environment we are giving to that object or those experimenting things, that follows that tender mind, that frail mind. Then there is special and distinct time essential for establishing attachment. Behavior differs from species to species. Yes, this is the most important conclusion, because it is depend on those experimenter or that experimenting thing, that what time you are giving the experiment. Like if I'm taking the example of dogs, if we take a dog as an object for experiment, dog will take 13 to 14 days. Or lion takes 3 to 4 days. If you want to imprint something, if you want to give them something learn or that following things, so you have to take 3 or 4 days, and after 3 or 4 days you will see that lion will do as you do, or that object do. Everything he will follow blindly. And in dogs also, in your pet dog, you can see that little babies follow that owner of that dog everywhere, every time blindly. So this is your imprinting. You can conclude like this: thus it is this similar from learning. It depends on instinctive and inborn behavior. It is instinct, natural, random, everything you can say. But in learning there is a training and experience is important, and it is different from training and experience. There was nothing training or experience in imprinting. You have seen and we have discussed those things. So I hope you understand all the things I have discussed and I have in this video. So that's all for today, and we will discuss more in other videos. Till then, bye, good night. And if you like my channel, and if you like this whole video, and if you think that I have taught you in easy way those learning things, so you can share it with your friends, family members, and other who are preparing for competitive exams like teaching exams. So you can share with them. They will help by it, and so share it and like it. And if you have any query regarding this video, you can comment on comment section. So bye, have a nice day.